Hey, what is going on, my specialist? SPC here. So, you guys are reading the title correctly. Today is the 1 year anniversary of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Just figured I'd rock the merch today. But I literally just got done watching the movie again. I figured it's been since April since the last time I watched this, so I wanted to get this for you guys because I never actually did a real review. What's going on, Kellen? How's it going? Hey, get a video up. You're falling behind, buddy. Anyway, off topic again. But I don't know what it was about this time around, though, guys, but I actually really enjoyed the movie more than I normally did. Because obviously, when I first left the movie theater back last year, I had so many emotions. Good work. I had so many emotions going through me. I really didn't know what to think. I mean, I really liked it, but there were parts that I couldn't wrap my head around. So we're just gonna go talk overall about the movie, and then after we're done, I'm going to give you guys 3 lists: my likes, my dislikes, and I figured I would make another one of like mixed, because there were things I liked, but there were certain aspects about it I didn't enjoy at all. I've also got theories that I want to talk about as well, and there are things I wish that would have happened in the movie. So, kicking things off is the Battle of Dakar, and I mean, obviously, this takes place immediately after The Force Awakens. The Resistance is trying to escape Dakar. The First Order is there, destroying the base. And we start off with a little bit with Hux and Poe having a little, I don't know really what you want to call it. I guess we could say like an immature little spat. But basically, he's just trying to stall until the bombers and all the other fighters come around. Poe goes, takes out the cannons. Then the resistance bombers keep coming, and they start just attacking. And a bunch of starfighters come around, just a huge battle. All of the bombers get destroyed except for one, and that is Rose. We'll get to Rose later on, but it's Rose's sister, Paige. She's the one who destroys the dreadnought, but there's just so many lives lost because of Poe, because of his ignorance. Leia tells him to come back, they can escape. Poe just goes against it. Decides, no, I can do this. We can destroy this dreadnought, and then we can get out of here. And it just costs the lives of hundreds. And after that, after they escape, let's see. Finn finally wakes up, and first thing he asks is, "Where is Rey?" Then we go all the way across the galaxy to Octo, where Luke and Rey are interacting for the first time. Of course, Rey hands Luke his iconic lightsaber, and Luke tosses it over his shoulder and walks away. And obviously, as I said, we're going to get to my dislikes and likes and all that soon. But basically, Rey's just following him around, telling him that they need Luke Skywalker. They need the Luke Skywalker that took down the Empire, defeated the Emperor, defeated Darth Vader. And basically, if they don't have Luke Skywalker, they're most likely going to fail, which I could see from, first of all, what happened with Poe earlier on in the movie. After that, after Chewbacca finally breaks down the door, goes and talks to Luke, and he asks, where is Han? Obviously, as we know from The Force Awakens, Han Solo is dead. After that, we get to Snoke and Kylo having a little interaction with one another, talking about how he thought, talking about Snoke, I should be more specific when I talk, sorry. But Snoke is telling Kylo that basically he was wrong, thinking that he was going to be the next Darth Vader, how his emotions got the better of him, how it took him so long to just find his inner darkness, kill Han Solo. And after that, basically, what I'm going to say is throws at Anakin. He just takes his helmet and just starts bashing it and bashing it and bashing it inside the elevator. And we get to yet another bombing run. All the resistance fighters and the big capital ships are escaping. And they get tracked through light speed, which I guess that much I still don't know how they really did it. But that's okay. I'll figure it out someday, I hope. But then Kylo comes out. He's destroying X-Wings. He's destroying A-Wings, attacking more of the ships. And then we get to him going down to where Leia is inside of her ship. And he has a moment of hesitation. He's going to push the button to send out the bombs and kill his mother, basically. Well, he does hesitate, but two fighters come from beside him, destroys the entire bay. They're just gone. Leia's gone. Akbar's gone. Everybody on that bay is gone. Then we come to find out a little bit later that, I was about to say Rey, wow. Leia's actually using the Force to keep herself alive. And once again, guys, it'll be a part we talk about, but Leia uses the Force and brings herself back into the ship. And of course, she's unconscious for, well, just basically the next hour of the movie, so she's not even anywhere near anybody in the movie. After that, we get back to Ahch-To. Luke goes into the Millennium Falcon for the first time in 30 years. And that just gave me, even still watching the movie just a little bit ago, gave me the chills watching it. And he runs into R2, basically tells R2, I'm not going to be able, I can't come back. It's not in me anymore. And then R2 plays the iconic message from Leia. Let me switch my camera here a little bit, guys. There we go. But the iconic message from Leia to Obi-Wan plays. And Luke finally decides, okay. And even words that that's a dirty move. I mean, it was. But it got him to finally go and help and train Rey. They go through, do all these little bits of training. And it gets to a part where Rey's sitting on a rock. And basically Luke tells her to reach out with the Force. Well, she reaches out, feels all these other things, but she feels a darkness below Ahch-To. And basically she goes to the dark. And it just terrifies Luke. Rocks are breaking, all sorts of stuff's happening like that. And he just looks at her and says, I've sensed this raw strength once before with Kylo. Didn't scare me then. It does now. It just walks away. And I find it funny that even after a moment like that, Luke still teaches her more ways of the Force. But as he worded, he's going to teach her as to why the Jedi should be no more. Because she goes into a tree, sees all the old sacred texts, and just asks all sorts of questions. But the thing that happens later on in the movie is, I still don't know how I feel about it, but I put it on my like and dislike. The sacred text, yes, the sacred texts. Such good memes. But getting off topic again. So we get back to the Resistance. Of course, they're slowly going through space. It's one of the hardest parts of the entire movie to get through. Admiral Holdo tells everybody Leia's unconscious, and they just got to keep going. Of course, Poe, he doesn't like that. He wants to basically get all the escape pods and get out and get as far away from them as possible. Well, they butt heads quite a bit in this movie. Of course, tell a little bit later on. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I feel like I'm doing like a video for the first time. Like I'm nervous. I don't know why. I've done these plenty of times. Like my brain's just scrambled because there's just so much going on. Because I keep looking at this because I want to tell you guys all this, but I want to keep talking about the movie still. But we can skip all that because obviously you guys know about the whole space. It's because you're watching. That's right, Kella. I'm so nervous because of you. But then we get back to, after that we get back to Rey and Luke again. And Rey and Kylo keep having these, like, I don't know what you want to call it, I guess force connections, we can say. And of course it's from Snoke. He's connecting their minds because he's trying to get Rey to come over to the ship so he can kill her and basically find out where Luke is. Give me a second, guys. Anyway, but they keep having all these like force connections with one another. And it's weird because it happens like I believe 4 times in the movie. And I mean still even, but it's weird after the movie. We'll talk about that. We're getting into it soon. But after that, she goes down into the caves, tries to find out who her parents are. All she sees is just a reflection of herself. Because the whole movie, basically, everybody just says that her parents were nobodies. Like, they sold her for gambling and drinking money. There are some parts, too, I'm going to skip around because obviously we know all the chase in space and all that stuff. But then a little bit later on, we find out from Kylo that Luke tried to kill him one night in his sleep at the, I guess you could say the Academy, Jedi Academy. And of course, after Rey finds out, she's just like, I can't believe you did that. You created Kylo Ren. And she gets in the Millennium Falcon and takes off. She thinks she can turn Kylo back over to the light, but as she soon finds out, that's not the case. When she arrives on the ship, she tells him, I've seen the future. I've seen that you turn. And then Kylo turns it back on her, saying, I've seen it too. I know who your parents are. And right before all the crazy, like, to me, the best parts of the whole movie are the last, like, hour. We get back to Octo. Luke is walking up to the tree with a flame in hand. He's going to burn down the tree. And, oh, man, I got so excited when this happened. My favorite character, Yoda, returns, destroys the tree with lightning, and teaches Luke, basically, failure is the greatest teacher. That's why. Okay, I'm getting off. I'll say it in a different video. But then we get back to the Supremacy, which is, I was about to say Holdo ship, wow. Which is Snoke's ship. And basically, there's just a whole sequence of where Rey is kneeling before Kylo. Of course, she's just stuck because of Snoke. And he's saying all this stuff like, I see him turning the lightsaber towards his real enemy. And then I see him igniting it. Snoke is dead. And after that, probably one of the best battles in any Star Wars movie, in my opinion. I can willingly say that about this movie. It had one of the best action sequences of all time. Rey and Kylo versus the Praetorian Guards. Awesome. Loved it. And after they defeat all the guards, I'm getting off topic. I'm about to say Leia. I'm getting Leia and Rey mixed around, and we can't have that. So we have Rey talking to Kylo still and telling him, you can tell them to stop destroying the fleet. He's just staring at Snoke's body laying on the floor. And he just tells her, you need to let go. Join me. Then they just have this big force battle over the Skywalker saber. And then Admiral Holdo, all the ships have escaped. She stays on the ship and turns around, and she kamikazes right through all the starfighters, destroying them all. It was insane. I cannot believe that she actually did that. Probably, honestly, one of the most beautifully shot scenes in the entire movie. And after that, they all get to Crate, which was a former rebellion base. And they take shelter inside of the base. And I guess they basically come with like a mini Death Star. From what Finn said, it's basically like prototype Death Star equipment or something like that. But all these ski speeders, they have ski speeders. You see them back there on my poster. Racing towards trying to destroy this thing. Ends up not working. Finn is about to sacrifice himself. And Rose comes in and just completely cuts him off, saves his life. And right before that, the Millennium Falcon comes, takes all the TIE fighters away. TIE fighters are gone. And then what is, to me, probably the best part of the whole movie, like the best. Luke comes out with a force projection, talks to Leia, and after that, he goes out and faces Kylo. It took me a good 5 minutes watching that scene to know that it wasn't even Luke, because I didn't even notice that he looked younger, like he had like darker hair. But the thing that threw me off after that was he had the blue lightsaber. I was like, how could that be? That's destroyed. Not only that, but Rey has it. How does he have it? And then, of course, after he shifted his foot on the sand, or the salt, sorry, I was like, what? And it took me until Kylo went right through him to realize, like I just seriously thought like Luke would just got this crazy amount of power, like back with the Force. Turns out he's not there at all. He's just a Force projection. He's basically still on Octo, but he's just generating so much of the Force that he is there on Crate. And of course, after that, what's left of the Resistance, they get onto the Millennium Falcon, they take off. I know that was a terrible review for the movie, but now, guys, we can get into my list, because this is the part. And Callan, we need to have a talk here, man. Luke does not die; he becomes one with the Force. That is an argument I will still have. I don't care what anybody says. Luke did not die. He became one with the Force. In discussion. Anyway, guys, let's get into my list. I want to start with my dislikes, because I just want to get the negative stuff out of the way. and then we'll work our way to the mixed, and then we'll work our way to the liked. And then I'll give you guys my theories. I have 4 theories of what I think happened within the movie. So the first major thing that happened that I absolutely disliked was the disrespect Rian Johnson showed to the lightsaber scene. Like, I guess if it were me, if I actually, we'll just figure to say, if I directed The Last Jedi, my first instinct wouldn't be having Luke look at this saber that he hasn't held in over 30 years. A lightsaber he used to duel his own father with. But his first instinct shouldn't be to chuck it over his shoulder and walk away. That lightsaber is so iconic. It has killed a lot of Jedi. It's killed a lot of younglings. But it's also killed a fair number of Siths. I mean, he killed Count Dooku. Anakin killed Count Dooku with it. And of course, like I said, Luke, he faced Darth Vader with it. I mean, that lightsaber is it's iconic. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Luke's green lightsaber is honestly more iconic, but I mean, if that were me, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, no. Like, I would be sitting there like, oh my God, like, I haven't seen this thing in years. Like, what? So that is the first thing. The disrespect to the lightsaber shouldn't have happened. Honestly, should not have happened at all. Next thing, I've already brought this up, was the chase through space. It was just too boring, too slow. I couldn't get into any of it. It just wasn't for me. Oh, this is a part I did not talk about in the review, but the third thing I did not like was Canto Bight. I mean, I didn't enjoy any of it. I didn't get into it. I didn't like the casino scene. I didn't like the chase with the animals on it. I didn't like anything with DJ. DJ is probably one of my least favorite characters in this entire movie. To me, he served absolutely no purpose at all. Yeah, everything with a Canto Bight. I mean, some of it was humorous, like with BB-8 getting the little coins put inside of him by that little alien, which, if you guys did not know, is actually Mark Hamill. He did another little part in the movie. It was kind of cool. Next thing I did not like was Finn and Rose on board of the Supremacy. To me, they were really like rushing through it. I mean, for me, should have got stopped by like a couple of, I was about to say clone troopers, a couple stormtroopers, a couple officers. Just get stopped here and there randomly, take them out. That would have made the scene a little bit better for me. I'm going to skip these two. I'm going to save them for last. The biggest thing, though, was the humor. Like, the Battle of Dakar, that opening part with Hux and Poe, couldn't get into it. So they're like, oh, okay, I'll hold. Reaching General Hux. And everything with Luke, like, none of that should have been that funny. It really wasn't. But I don't know what Rian Johnson was thinking putting all this humor in. That, to me, that is what killed this movie. Like, if they would have put a more serious tone, had a couple little comedic moments here and there, okay. That's okay. That would have worked for me. But scenes that should have been serious, like Rey learning how to use the Force more with Luke, to sitting there like tickling her hand and stuff with a leaf, like actually like have her reaching out and be like, that's not what I meant. Like, or the part with Hux and Kylo after they're just unleashing everything they have on Luke, Do you think you got him? Like a mild amount of humor, that's okay. I'm all right with that. Like with what happened in Rogue One, perfect. A movie like this, how serious this was, there should have been little to almost no humor, in my opinion. So, the next two things, guys. First of all, Phasma's death. I've talked about it before in a live stream. They underutilized this character so bad. I mean, so bad. And to me, she shouldn't have even been in the movie if they weren't even going to use her. She had like 10 more minutes of screen time and gets killed off. The next biggest one, and it's my final dislike, guys, is the death of Snoke. Because Rian Johnson said he had no story, no place, no anything for Snoke in the movie. So why kill him off? I guess my thing, you could have had him escape of some way, shape, or form, and then have him come back in the next movie. Of course, not even that, but now we just have more theories. Is Snoke really dead? I mean, is he this? Is he that? So that is it for my dislikes. Now it's time for my mixed reviews. My first up is the Battle of Dakar. I already talked about that. Next up is Leia uses the Force. Don't get me wrong. It was a beautiful scene. I mean, beautiful scene. It's just the way she came back in. It just looked too Superman-ish. I did not like. I did not like her coming in looking like Superman, flying in like basically like this the whole time. It's just not for me. The next one is Rey in the caves. It was a good scene, but to me, you could have done without it. Next up is Poe takes over, and what I mean by that is basically his, I guess in a sense, his resistance against Holdo. She's doing all this stuff, trying to get everybody to escape, get everybody to crate. And he just basically turns and doesn't find out exactly why until later on when the ships are actually leaving to crate. And last but not least, Rose saves Finn. Another scene I thought that could have been cut out, but Finn goes to sacrifice himself to save the Resistance. And Rose comes to save him because she loves him. That is what killed. I mean, it was good until she popped in, saved him. She's just like, I saved you, dummy. Like after that, ruined the whole scene. You guys are gonna have to give me one quick second here. Having issues. Sorry, guys, my phone's about to die. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to do this a little differently now, I think. There we go. That'll work. Kind of basically still the same, right? So now, guys, we are getting to my likes. First one, Luke and R2 reunite. Once again, first time in 30 years we get to see it. Beautiful scene. And as I brought up earlier, the iconic, help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. I should have done like this before. This looks way better. Next up, Rey and Kylo talk through the Force. I know I said I was a little confused about it, but it was still kind of an interesting like thing. So I kind of hope this happens a little more in the next movie. Because, I mean, even at the end, with Snoke being dead, because, as I said before, he's the one who connected their minds together. But at the end, they still see each other again. So it's kind of like, well, maybe Snoke used so much of the Force, now they're like permanently connected in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Guess we'll have to find out. Next up is Holdo's sacrifice. Another beautifully shot scene. It just the way it is shot, the way she just blasts through all of them. I loved it. It was done perfectly, beautifully. The next scene, I brought it up earlier. I call it a Yoda's lesson. Failure is the greatest teacher. Yoda, he got such a way with words. I love it. Already brought this one up too, so I don't need to talk about it at all. The throne room battle. Good scene. Next up, the Battle of Crate and Luke's sacrifice. All the stuff I already talked about, so I'm going to kind of work my way through it pretty fast. But yeah, that was my reaction list, we can kind of say. So now we are on to my theories. These are my 4 theories I thought were happening within the movie. Number 1 is Snoke planned Kylo to kill him to complete his training. At the end of The Force Awakens, as Starkiller Base is falling, basically Snoke looks at Hux and tells him, find Kylo and bring him to me. It's time I complete his training. Even just the way like he's talking about it, it's like he literally knows exactly what is going on. Like he's turning the lightsaber to kill his true enemy. And he ignites it. And obviously we all know what happens there. So I think that was Snoke's real way to like completely turn Kylo, I guess, to the dark side. To me, this was Kylo Ren's movie. Like, to me, Kylo Ren, best character in the entire movie. I mean, you want to agree? That's cool. If you want to disagree, let me know in the comment section below why Kylo is not the best. But that is really what I think. I think Snoke foresaw everything happening before. And it's just his way of completing Kylo's overall training. He's officially done. He's in the dark side now. Number 2, this one's kind of obvious. Kylo lied to Rey about her parents to turn her against the Resistance. That one's just kind of obvious. I think this is another obvious one too here, is Yoda knew Rey took the ancient texts. So that's why he destroyed the tree. That's why he gave Luke the new lesson. And last but not least, Luke knew Kylo's rage would get the better of him. As Luke said, if you strike me down, I'll be with you forever, just like your father. I just feel like that was Luke's way of like getting into Kylo's head to basically like stop him. And he really did. He outsmarted him. He outsmarted the entire First Order. The Resistance, what was left of them, got away. And now we are on to the final part of the review, guys. Things I wish that would have happened. Number 1, this one's obvious too. The Master Codebreaker was Lando. I think that would have been better than the guy who it ended up being. And it would have definitely been better than DJ. Because, I mean, just the way he worded it. Oh, he's good with a blaster. And I don't really remember what else Maz says, but I just think Lando would have been better. It would have been a good way to bring him back into the franchise. And it would kind of work because, in a way, Canto Bight reminds me a lot of Bespin. Next up is Holdo discussed her plan from the start. Obviously, if they would have done that, would have made the movie better, and Poe wouldn't have turned against her. There wouldn't have been a big mutiny. Next up, Admiral Akbar in place of Holdo. Another obvious one, because when the ship got destroyed, unfortunately, Akbar just killed. Like, no hero, goodbye, no nothing like that. I didn't like that. I could have put that under my dislikes, but Holdo shouldn't have been in there. I think it should have been Akbar instead. It would have had I think it had a more emotional impact on me. Next up is Luke versus Snoke. It would have been cool to have Luke come onto the supremacy and fight Snoke, and then find a way for him and Rey to escape and get to Crate. Because I just think that would have made the battle in there a lot better. Next up, Luke arrives on Crate in his X-Wing. That would have just been the best. I mean, seeing Luke inside of his X-Wing for the first time, once again, in 30 years, just blasting down at TIE fighters. Ryan, man, you missed a lot of opportunities here. Next up, Kylo and Rey rematch. The Praetorian Guards wouldn't have been there after they killed them. They should have had them just fight again. I would have really enjoyed that. Another obvious one here. Captain Phasma had more screen time. Don't need to talk about that. I've already voiced my opinion on that. And finally, Kylo and Leia face to face. I think, after the ship got destroyed and Leia was floating out in space, I think Kylo should have came with his fighter and taken her back to the ship and nursed her back to health. And then, of course, just having them face to face, having her eventually end up escaping. That would have just been better. And it'd have been, once again, another more emotional impact for the movie. So, guys, that is it for the review. Yeah, this is just my little list, how I wrote it down. Obviously, you guys know on my Star Wars ranking, this is pretty low on my list. It's the number 9 slot. I honestly would probably still keep it there. Like I said earlier, I don't know what it was. I liked the movie better this time around watching it for the 3rd time. But it's definitely not the best Star Wars movie. It's the most controversial Star Wars ever made. But, hopefully the next one makes up for everything. Because I'm really pulling for JJ. He did a phenomenal job with The Force Awakens. I think he's going to do really good with this movie. I guess overall, I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's not bad. Just to me, just tone down the humor a lot more. Show some more respect for your actual characters. And don't worry about all the visuals. Visually, beautiful Star Wars movie. So that is overall, like I said before, let me know in the comment section below. What did you think of the movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? If we end up having a little discussion, make it friendly, make it calm. And with that being said, you guys, comment, subscribe. See ya.